We begin with that breaking news. Sources now telling ABC News that law enforcement officials have identified a possible suspect in connection with a deadly mass shooting at Brown University. Authorities in Providence, Rhode Island have been asking for the public's help tracking down the gunman, sharing video of a person of interest and his movements before and after the shooting. This comes after sources earlier today told ABC News that the university shooting and the murder of an MIT professor may be linked. Investigators say the professor was shot and killed 2 days after the university shooting in Brookline, Massachusetts, about an hour's drive from Providence. We're waiting for officials in Rhode Island to hold a news conference, and we'll bring that to you live whenever it happens. But first, let's get right to ABC's Christian Cordero, who's tracking the latest in Providence, along with ABC News Chief Investigative Correspondent Aaron Katersky, who is in our New York newsroom. And Aaron, I want to start with you right now. What more do we know about this possible suspect in the Brown University shootings?
The information was developed really within the last 24 hours or so, Alex. The authorities have now identified this potential suspect in connection with the Brown University shooting, and they have also obtained a warrant for his arrest. So wherever that individual may be stopped, once the arresting agency looks him up in the system, that will come back that he is wanted for a murder in Rhode Island. So that would lead to his immediate detention and then eventual perhaps transfer into custody for prosecution. So that's a big step forward in the investigation. At the same time, law enforcement sources tell ABC News they have also started to explore potential links between the Brown University shooting and the killing of an MIT professor who was found with multiple gunshot wounds on Monday night just inside the foyer of the building where he lives in Brookline with his wife and 3 children.
Well, and Aaron, I know there was a lot of questions early on if these might be linked, but I'm curious. I mean, what were your sources telling you that led them to believe that these 2 cases might actually be linked?
The authorities began to notice some similarities, Alex. The authorities have not publicly revealed why they think the 2 may be connected, but perhaps they've been looking at ballistics, perhaps they've got some DNA or fingerprints that they're working with, perhaps the identity of the individual gives something away or a potential clue. But the authorities have been tight-lipped about both investigations as they work to track down this possible suspect in connection with the Brown University shooting, and then determine whether that same individual might also be responsible for murdering the MIT professor Nuno Lolero.
Well, and Christian, so we're hearing about this possible suspect in the Brown University shooting. Now, authorities throughout this whole process have really been relying on the public's help in tracking down this gunman. You saw them put out calls to check their cameras, whether you're a resident or you work in the area.
Yeah, and that call to action, Alex, has been crucial for this investigation and certainly to what the public has received so far. We've, from it, kind of, been able to kind of gather a few things. One is that a lot of the surveillance, in fact, all of the surveillance that you've seen has been this person of interest, this suspect walking around the neighborhoods. So everything that has been released so far indicates that this person was not really on campus for very long. And to give you context, the building where the shooting happened is right on the eastern edge of campus, and everything to the east of that is a residential area. So it really has been the power of the collective here of getting all of these pieces of evidence into authorities so that they could create a detailed timeline, as detailed as they have presented so far, although there are still holes, as to what this person's movements were. And one really big question right now is, where did they go after the shooting? Because there is some video that shows them walking away from campus after the shooting, but they were, as of the last update, looking for more information as to where this person went after they were walking away in the immediate minutes following the shooting, Alex. So that's something that hopefully we will learn soon with the next update.
Well, and Christian, listen, you got an active manhunt that's now in, I believe it's 6th day. You've got students who might still be on campus before winter break. I mean, I'm curious, what's the mood there? I mean, are folks, obviously they're worried.
Of course. Unfortunately, Alex, we've covered a lot of mass shootings. We've covered a lot of school shootings. This one feels different for all of those reasons that you just mentioned, because it is, in some ways, even still an unimaginable tragedy that this community has endured. And at the same time, they're in rare company because there hasn't been a suspect identified and, of course, caught yet, arrested yet. So they haven't been able to fully start the process of healing. There have been vigils, of course. There have been many memories and flowers placed outside of the building where this happened. But there are two dueling realities right now, Alex, because there is so much grief and so much anxiety at the same time.
All right, Christiane, Aaron, thank you both.